In this video, we're going to get a little bit more experience writing Java code. So I'm going to go ahead and open my terminal by going into my Finder, going to my applications, scrolling down to Utilities, and opening the terminal application. Now, if you want to keep the terminal in your taskbar or in your dock, you can just grab that and move it somewhere onto your dock. That will keep it so that every time you quit, if you want to open it again, you just click on that icon and that will open your terminal. Now I'm going to go into Java projects. We created this folder in the last lesson. If you don't remember, you can just type mkdir to create that directory, and then you can use cd, change directory, to go into that folder. And if we look at the files here using ls, we can see we have myfirstclass.class, myfirstclass.java. So let's go ahead and create a new file. We'll call it mysecondclass.java. And we'll go ahead and say public class mysecondclass, and we'll use public static void main string arguments, just like we did in the last lesson. Now we're going to actually create a variable. We're going to create a variable, and what a variable is it's a place for our program to store some information. We're going to start off with a string. So we're going to use a capital S to specify a string. Now you can see this right here. We have the same kind of string, except for this is a string array. We're just going to create a basic string. We're going to say string MSG. This is the message I am writing. Now, notice a couple of things about this line. We start off by declaring a variable as a string, so we're going to say string MSG. This is telling Java we want to create a new variable and we want to refer to it as MSG. When we talk about variables, we have a couple of requirements. Variables have to start with a letter or an underscore. They can be made up of letters or underscores, and they can include numbers as long as the number is not the first character. So, some variable names that we could use might be string A12345A1234112. We could use string underscore 323. We could use string AFSIJ We could use string this is a more normal name. All of those are valid string variable declarations, or variable declarations in general. Now, I've put a lot of lines of code in here that I don't want to use. In Nano, if you hold Control and hit K, that will wipe out the current line. So I can just go ahead and cut out all of those lines. You can see here, Control K will cut that line. So now we're going to just simply use system.out.println to output that message to the user. And from here, everything should be okay. I've declared a string variable. I have assigned it, and you can see here within the double quotes, I have the text I want to use, and I have a semicolon at the end. So if I write that out, Control O, Control X, and I type Java-C, mysecondclass.java, and I type Java mysecondclass, you can see there that's the message that I'm writing. So that actually works. And now one interesting thing, if I go back into Nano and I open my class file, mysecondclass.java, or I open my Java file, I can actually reuse that variable. I can say message my name is Tim. And then I can write that out again, system.out.println MSG. So you can see here, I don't have to declare the variable every time I use it. I can reset it. I can set it to different values. And you can see here, now if I write this, or if I set the value of that variable to my name is Tim, there's a variable out there in memory. It's storing some data for me, but I've just overwritten the data that's there, and I'm now using my name is Tim. So if I hit Control O and then Control X, and I type Java-C mysecondclass.java, you'll see now I'm writing out two lines of text. I'm writing out that first value for the variable and the second value of the variable. So if we go back into our file, you can see how this works. I'm creating a variable called MSG. I'm storing this value in it, and then I'm writing that out. Now, if I were to write this out a second time above this next line, so if I say system.out.println MSG here instead of here, you'll see a very different result. mysecondclass.java, Java mysecondclass, and you can see here it's just outputting that same value twice. And the reason for that is because now I'm just outputting that same variable. So everything works in sequential order. I'm going to go ahead and cut that line, and I can actually paste that line after I cut it just by hitting Control U on that next line. So I could change my message. I could actually create a new variable too. So string favorite color. My favorite color is orange. Now if I write that one out as well, system.out.println favorite color, and I hit Control O, then Control X, my second class.java, and I run it, you'll see here I get all three of these different statements. So we're able to introduce variables into our programs and able to use them in different ways. So once we get into more arithmetic, we'll actually be able to use these to do more to write more complicated programs. Once we get into input, you'll see that we're able to store a user's input in one of these variables. But for now, this gives us a start for how we can actually create more complex programs using system.out.println and variables. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to practice your coding.